right here with Chicago Bears head coach Ben Johnson. Ben, thank you very much for being here, first of all. But second of all, head coach. For a few years there, you were close, and now finally you are a head coach, and not just a head coach, but with the Chicago Bears. Why was this the right time, the right place?
Listen, for a number of years there, I wanted to win, and that's really what happened there in Detroit, was turning that franchise around and seeing them come from perennial losers for 20 years of really not winning consistently, and then seeing what happened there with Brad and Dan and Sheila Hamp and turning that around. And so when the winning started to come, it became a little bit tougher to leave, to be honest with you. What happened to me this year was having that bye week before the playoffs gave me a little bit more time to think things through going into the interviews with a few of these teams, and I had a great vision for what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a head coach. It was just a matter of when, not if, the way I look at it at least. And once I made it through those interviews, just Chicago really popped out. I had great alignment there with George McCaskey, with Kevin Warren, with Ryan Poles. Loved the synergy, the aura coming from it. And, of course, it's an iconic franchise with the storied history. So there were so many good things there with a great roster already in place. And of course, the quarterback doesn't hurt.
No. Well, hey, you mentioned Ryan Poles. We had him up here a little bit earlier. He said something that might surprise some folks who have watched you as OC of the Lions. He said, hey, don't get it twisted. This guy has some juice. Are you a juice guy? Are you a big energy guy?
Yeah, I bring it out occasionally. Yeah. No, within the building, the people that know me, absolutely. Probably what you've seen, media sessions or on the field over the last few years, I've been a little bit more reserved and stoic. That's by design. But within the building, there's a little bit more personality than might come out initially.
What about when you have the headset on, when you are the head coach of the Bears and it's week 3? Are we going to see that personality on the sideline?
Maybe a little bit more than what you've seen in the past.
All right.
Yeah.
You mentioned Caleb Williams, and you're obviously an offensive guy. Your thoughts on him and where he is right now in his development?
Yeah, listen, he had a solid rookie year. You know, there were ups, there were downs. When you watch the tape, the talent flashes each and every single game. I think he grew as a player from the start of the season to the end, and what I'm encouraged about is we're going to get a very coachable version of Caleb going forward. If you look back at it, really it was probably the least successful year he's had as a quarterback for a long time, if ever. And so he is determined to be a great one in this league, and so I'm really encouraged with the fact that he's going to come in here this springtime, open arms, and be willing to learn everything that we can possibly load up on him.
What are tweaks 1 and 2 that you want to make with him, whether it be mechanics, X's and O's, the sort of scheme that you're going to have in there? What are, when you were watching the film of the Chicago Bears, when you were going against them and watching Caleb, what are a couple of top-level things that you got to go in there and work on?
Listen, it all starts before the snap, in my opinion, with the quarterback position. And so when you look at it, it did not always look natural for him going from the college offense to more of a huddle procedure, get up motions, shifts, cadence. And so little things like that, I think naturally it's going to slow down immensely for him going into year 2, but we're going to look to put a little pressure on him that way so that we can speed up that process. Once we get that down, then we'll load him up with volume of pass concepts and things of that nature.
How important is it for you guys to improve the guys in front of him on the offensive line?
Listen, it's not just the guys up front, but really he needs as strong of a supporting cast as we can possibly find for him. The guys up front, you can talk about the sacks and whether that was that unit, whether that was Caleb, whether that was the pass catcher. It's really a combination of all of them. And so any sack is really should be taken the onus by the entire unit. And so we do need to get better up front, I should say more consistent play up front. That's probably the best way of phrasing it, because I'm not saying that we need to replace each and every guy that played snaps last year. That is not the case whatsoever, but we do need that unit to play at a higher level, more consistent level over the course of the year. So that'll be a point of emphasis. Feel really good about the O-line coaches we're going to have in that room going forward. Dan Rochar has a lot of skins on the wall. He was in New Orleans for a number of years, and they were absolutely cooking with Sean Payton back in the day. So I'm really excited about seeing him get to work.
Pete, I don't know if you know this, but Ben and I went to the top public university in America, the University of North Carolina. I know that you went to
Arizona State, the Harvard of the West.
Yeah. So anyway, at that fine institution, and since then, Ben, you've sort of been labeled as a bit of a mad scientist. I don't know if you accept that label, if that fits you or not, but with that label sort of comes this idea of, okay, here's an offensive coordinator who loves to just be in the office, scheme up plays, worry about the offense. Now you're the head coach. How much over the last couple of years, if that were true, and correct all of us if that's not true, how much over the last couple of years have you learned from Dan Campbell, watched an Aaron Glenn and otherwise, and said, you know what, here's the totality of what a head coach.
Yeah, listen, we're going to flip that narrative because I don't necessarily love it, okay? No. Yeah, I mean, my job over the last few years was to be the best offensive coordinator that I could possibly be. All right, that changes now that I'm the head coach, and that's going to be the whole vision of the entire unit and the entire team. I like to think of myself not as a mad scientist, but I like to think of myself as a darn good football coach. And so that's what I'm going to be going forward, and I look forward to the challenge, which is defensive, special teams, offense, all coming together and playing complementary football.
You call some of the best trick plays out there when you're the offensive coordinator. Will you be less apt to do that now that you're the head coach, or will this philosophy stay the same?
We're going to do whatever we're capable of doing, and so we got to determine what all we can handle, and that's what the springtime and training camp's for. We'll push the limits there, but to me, the trick plays all came down to the building blocks and fundamentals of football, the blocking, the catching, the run after catch, the ball security. Once we master those, then the fun layers we can add on top one after another, and we'll see how far we can take it from there.
Did you see the juice that he had on that narrative question? He was like, no.
There's no juice. You haven't seen juice yet.
No. That wasn't even it.
Don't call him the mad scientist. He's coming at you.
We will make that note here at CBS Sports. No, Ben Johnson, thanks so much for the time, man.
Appreciate you guys. Go Tar Heels.
That's right. Go Heels.
Might make the tournament.
When you need your sports news all the time,
we've got breaking news to bring to you.
CBS Sports HQ gives you a snapshot of all the sports that matter to you.
Big news coming out of the NFL. A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
With highlights.
What a finish at the final round of play.
And in-depth analysis.
Can they three-peat? Tony Romo joins the conversation.
What can you say about this game?
When you need your sports in a snap,
we're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
Find it on CBS Sports HQ. Streaming free anywhere you are.